What about Spurs and their manager and the situation they're in? Because there's a lot of murmurings that Conte's not happy, that he'll be leaving the club. I mean, his contract's up at the end of the season. He only signed an 18-month contract, Murph. And now there's talk that Thomas Tuchel is interested in coming back to the Premier League and taking over at Spurs. Another ex-Chelsea manager perhaps involved with Tottenham. Where do you see things panning out for Conte, Spurs, and if a replacement like Tuchel could be coming in?
Well, I think the feeling over the last couple of years at Tottenham has been, we want a trophy. We want to win something no matter what. And I think they thought Conte was the answer to that. And at first, you could see signs that they were improving. Now, the majority of Tottenham fans I speak to and listen to are, forget the trophy, let me just enjoy some football again. And it really has become that negative. I think tonight, actually, they showed some really positive signs, although, of course, didn't defend very well second half. But attacking-wise, they made some chances against the champions and away from home. And I thought they showed good intensity at times in the first half to try and press high and mix the game up a bit for the first time in a long time. But overall, I would foresee a change. I don't think he'll stay. I'd be surprised. I think the discontent from the fans is overwhelming at the moment. And, yeah, Tuchel, you know, he's out of work. He's a very experienced guy. He's charismatic. He's done good work everywhere he's been. But he's going to have similar problems because ultimately, although there's a good squad of players, they're not as good as the ones who are above them. And how do you fix that without massive investment? That Tottenham squad, although it's got decent players, I still don't think has the quality of the teams above them. So it's a dilemma for them. I think Tottenham fans right now are just wanting to go and watch Tottenham have a go and play some good football, and they've stopped worrying so much about a trophy.
Millsy, Conte, Tuchel, Spurs, who's going to be in charge at the end of the season?
If Tottenham get Champions League, Conte might stay if he's then given some money. If they don't get Champions League, I think he's gone. You know, simple as that, because he wants to be a winner. He wants money. They're not going to get that unless they're in the Champions League. When I look at Tottenham and you start to go through their side, as Danny says, their squad isn't as good. And that's mainly defensively. The keeper probably needs changing. That's going to cost you 40, 50 million quid, you know, to bring in somebody. They need 2 fullbacks or 2 wingbacks because they haven't solved that issue yet. They're not realistically good enough if they want to start challenging for the title. Chelsea are struggling because Chilwell's been out, Reece James has been out. But on their day, you know, they're exceptional. You know, they're magnificent players. And then you've got the centre-half issue. They've done okay tonight. Romero looks good at times, and then he makes the odd mistake. Eric Dyer is in the twilight of his career. You know, he's not going to go and win the Premier League. I don't think so. So you've got 4 or 5 players that you need to replace if you're going to start challenging. And that's mainly defensively that you're going to have to pick up. If I was Tottenham, I don't know about you, Danny, but I'd be thinking Harry Maguire. Get him out of Man United. They don't want him. Ten Hag doesn't want him. He could go into that. He can play in a 4. He can play in a 3, you know, no matter what. Surely he would add a little bit of solidity to that team, if nothing else.
100%. It's a great shout. I think you made some great points about their weaknesses in defensive areas and the amount of money that it's needed. The problem is for Tottenham now is that they've got a manager there who always wanted more. He's going to demand huge amounts to try and bring in some bolster the squad while he's earning huge amounts. And I don't think that fans are as bothered about huge superstar signings now and loads of money being spent. I think they'd rather see their team play with some hunger, some creativity, some skill, some freedom. And any manager coming in gives them that. I think they'll take that and get behind them. But it's a difficult one because Tottenham have been in a quandary for so long trying to compete with those around them. And ultimately, they're no closer now than they were 4 or 5 years ago.
I bet Conte's absolutely gutted. Sorry, Adam. I bet Conte's gutted he's not still at Chelsea because that's kid in a sweet shop for him, isn't it? It's like, who do you want? Well, yeah, go and buy them. Who don't you want? Doesn't matter. We're still going to go and buy them. Who does somebody else want? Oh, we'll just buy them as well. I mean, for someone like Conte or Mourinho, Chelsea at the moment is the absolute dream because you just go out and buy who you want, spend what you want, doesn't make any difference. And they're the sort of managers that need ready-made players that can piece a jigsaw of a team together and make it work. Conte doesn't really improve players. He doesn't work on their individual talents. Never really seen him take a younger player, like, say, Pochettino did, or maybe Ten Hag's doing at the moment, and Pepper's done, even Klopp, and go, oh, yeah, he's come on leaps and bounds in the last couple of seasons. He's a totally different player. That's not what he does. And I just think if he will walk if they don't get anywhere. He might even go if they do get Champions League. But I think the only way he stays is if they get Champions League and he gets much more money to spend.